Welcome to Veterans in Transition, where we promote the veteran community. Each week, we travel around the region highlighting veteran-related news, issues, and resources. In this episode, we feature our second annual Veterans Week Luncheon. This year's theme, Honoring Community Service. We'll hear from the 5 honorees in their own words. We highlight our annual donation to the Library of Congress Veteran History Project and our Veteran of the Week. But first, Veterans in Transition held its second annual Veterans Week Luncheon. During this event, we highlighted veterans who are giving back to the community the second time around. Hosted by retired Master Sergeant Michelle Irby Johnson, United States Air Force, and the keynote speaker was retired Air Force General Larry Spencer. Let's hear from event chair, retired Chief Master Sergeant Jan Adams, United States Air Force, President and CEO of JMA Solutions.
Welcome, everybody, to Veterans in Transition, the second annual Veterans Week virtual luncheon. I'm a 24-year Air Force veteran and a retired Chief Master Sergeant, and I'm so excited to be here with my sister and brother veterans for this event today. It's truly a pleasure to join you all to honor our veterans and to recognize the importance of service. Before I begin, I'd like to acknowledge all of the veterans who have joined us on today's call, and to all of the men and women who have put on the uniform to defend this great nation, and to all the civilians and family members who stand beside our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guards. Your heroism will never, ever be forgotten, and we will honor and never forget you. This year's theme, Honoring Community Service, is imperative because service connects us to one another and to our community. As a veteran myself, I can confirm that joining the military takes patience, resilience, determination, but most importantly, it takes teamwork, sacrifice, and service. The experiences that I gained during my time in the Air Force enhanced my passion for business and for helping others. I remember helping to dig wells in Honduras and visiting base camps built by our civil engineer Red Horse teams, prepping for Doctors Without Borders. My experiences became key to my entrepreneurial journey and fueled my passion for philanthropy. In 2005, I founded JMA Solutions with the goal to not only be a leader in the industry, to provide jobs, but to also support my community and the communities of my employees. Although JMA has been recognized for its innovative solutions, the cornerstone of my company and a passion of mine is giving back. In closing, I hope this conversation inspires you to become more involved in your communities. Remember, you don't always have to provide money. Sometimes your talent, your time, your leadership, your organizational skills, they're also valuable resources that you can offer to charitable organizations or just in your communities. Keep in mind, there's no shortage of people in need, especially our service members.
This year's keynote speaker was retired Air Force General Larry Spencer, who encouraged the veterans by highlighting the proud and few who serve.
I want to really first give you a perspective of just how important you are and how unique you are. So think about today, according to the Veterans Administration, 7% of the American people are veterans, 7%. Now, let's go back a little bit. If you go back to 1945 during World War II, 12% of Americans actually fought in the war. much less those that had served. So 12% back in 1945 fought in World War II. If you bring that forward to Vietnam, from 12% who fought in World War II, only 2% of Americans fought in Vietnam. If you bring that forward to Operation Desert Storm, that percentage drops to 0.5%. So the point is less and less Americans are serving in the military. And frankly, it's a real concern. By the way, of that 0.5% who fought and served during Operation Desert Storm, 44% of them had some sort of Gulf War illness, just to show you how things are changing. The other complicator is, and I know many of you know this, but today, 75% of Americans, 75% of our country between the ages of 17 and 24 are ineligible for military service. Now, those reasons for that vary. It's the three main reasons are education, lack of education, physical limitations, and criminal behavior. But think about that. Only 25% of the country between 17 and 24 are even eligible. And of those 25% that are eligible, less than 10% serve. So it's been a real change since going back to World War II. So few people know much about the military or even serve. And if you think back to World War II, Vietnam, I can remember I was a kid during Vietnam. If you stop someone on the street, they could tell you they had a mother or a father, a cousin, an aunt or an uncle, a brother or sister that served in the military. They knew something about the military. I challenge you to stop someone on the street today and ask them if they know anyone in the military. And I would venture to say 9 times out of 10, they're going to say no. And there's a real disconnect today between generally the American people and the military. And that's something I think all of us need to work on, because so many of our fellow Americans don't know much about the military. And on top of that, if you think about a century ago, roughly 3/4 of the members of the House and Senate had served in the military. Today, less than 1/5 of Congress has any military experience. So again, think about the disconnect between our political leadership, between our nation at large and the military. That gap is widening. And so again, something that you and I really need to work on to make sure that connection stays. The other thing I'll mention to you is there was a recent study looking at the interest in our youth to join the military. And that study showed that 1 million less, the original study was done about 5 years ago. So in the last 5 years, 1 million less of our fellow Americans, our youth, even want to join the military. So again, not only do we have a small pool to begin with, but then the propensity of our youth to join the military is also shrinking. So as veterans, what you should take away from that, I think, is you are in fact a unique group. You made a decision to serve your country. And in doing so, you pledge to give your life if necessary. Congratulations to you all. Thank you for your service.
And now, our honorees. We featured 5 individuals who exemplified honor, community service the second time around.
I've noticed how, in the service, we all came together, whether it's one mission, one vision, and we operate together and we accomplish the task together. But it's a different challenge right here in our community. It seems like I deal with a whole lot of different individualism, where I'm trying to get families together. I'm trying to get the schools to work together. I'm trying to get small businesses to work together, but it's a challenge, and I think it's been a condition in that way over the many years. But I also believe that veterans are here to make that impact. As veterans, we know it's about the we. It's about all of us. It's not about the me. And I think I want to instill that type of mindset in our communities. So it's one step at a time. One step at a time. But I see it's a huge focus on our children when I feel like our children are the seed. But I want to focus on the tree and the seed, because a lot of their challenges and a lot of things that I see in the kids is coming from that tree. And without having that focus on both, we kind of just spinning our wheels. And that's what I do with my program. My program is a 2 steps mentoring program. So I say in 2 steps, we really can accomplish what we need to do. We figure out what it is you want to do and then how to achieve it. I think it's as simple as that. You know, I think that's a military mindset. If I know what the mission is, nothing stops me from accomplishing that mission. You know, and I think as a veteran, I think we all kind of operate like that. So that's why I think veterans lead the way, veterans should lead the way, and veterans will lead the way in the communities we serve.
I'm an advocate for veterans, an advocate, a hardcore advocate. Last couple of weeks, we've been trying to mash the gas with getting this HR 1012 passed for the 688 Congressional Medal. Now, the Congress that we have, the 117th Congress, convened on the 3rd of January, 2021, and they will be out of session and a new Congress on the 3rd of January, 2023. We have less than a month and a half. We need 32 members from the House to honor the women from the 688. And who were they? They were Black women, Army, Corps, who were serving over in France and in England. They had an impossible task. They were commissioned on the 3rd of February, 1945. These women lived in segregated quarters. They had to sort mail. They didn't have the computers that we have and all the nice sorting techniques, but they were honored and celebrated in different areas across the globe and not in receipt yet of the Congressional Medal.
Yeah, my name is Cassandra Taylor, retired Army Sergeant First Class. I am, yes, the founder and CEO of Top Flight Defense Incorporated, a nonprofit organization for women veterans, but we decided to open it up to all women because what better way to serve our community than to bring the women in the community in. On our YouTube channel, we have all of the classes that we have conducted over the last 18 months. We have awareness classes that we do every single month.
One day I received a warrior's call. And in that warrior's call, it was based upon this church service. I watched some of our church members not properly handling themselves in a COVID environment. And the next day I called my pastor up and the head of the trustee board and said, hey, you know, I'm a chemical guy and I've been doing this for over 40 something years. Maybe I need to help you guys really run this church operation and get things done properly so we make sure our people are not sick. And after 12 months, 14 months of helping them with their COVID protocols, we have had 17 months straight with no incidents and have now been recognized as a center of excellence for our operations.
We were fortunate enough to team up with BAB Chapter 36, which is a Waldorf chapter, to provide veterans claims service within the Airman's Memorial Building, within our building. I was able to release some space to them, and we have an office that's in the building. We teamed up again with Chapter 36, and we appreciate all of the efforts that that they went through to stand this up. We also had relationships with the DC chapter and the Clinton area leadership as well within BAB to make that possible. So we now provide within our building and through the guidance of Chapter 36, the ability for veterans to come here at the Airman's Memorial Building to get claims assistance.
The Veteran History Project is the largest oral history project in U.S. history. As part of the American Folklore Center at the Library of Congress, each year Veterans in Transition makes a contribution to this historic project. With the Library of Congress Veteran History Project, I'll allow Lisa Taylor to tell you a little more about it. But at this moment, Lisa, I'd like to officially take this opportunity and ceremoniously donate 2 interviews that we are presenting to the Library of Congress, and to also state that I look forward to post-COVID, when this is all over, that we can do this in person at the Library of Congress. So we're really looking forward to that. So, so to no further ado, I'm just going to ceremoniously hand it over to you, these donations, okay? Take it away, Lisa.
So as Rodney mentioned, this year he introduced me to 2 more dynamic, and awesome and awe-inspiring veterans that I was thrilled to have the opportunity to record their oral history interviews. The first one was Tawanda Tia Young. And as a retired Army Brigadier General, she shared with me her journey through life and the importance of leadership, faith, knowing your craft, maintaining family connections, and giving back to the community, all while rising through the ranks of the Army. General Young was an absolute joy to speak with. The second veteran I had the pleasure of interviewing for Veterans in Transition this year was Renee Thompson Flores, whose journey from Louisiana through the ranks of the Navy was nothing short of amazing. She told me all about her medical lab training and experience, as well as her work as an advocate for sexual assault victims in the military, and so much more. My conversation with Chief Thompson Flores was absolutely unforgettable. So at this time, I'd like to offer both of these women of valor about a minute each.
Well, good afternoon. I want to thank Mr. Minor, Veterans in Transition, and Ms. Taylor from the Library of Congress for the honor of having my military story selected to be archived and shared with the world. As we pay homage to the veterans past and present for their service and sacrifice, I'm humbled by this tribute. There's a phrase that I know that most of you can remember, that it takes a village to raise a child. Now, by no means am I alluding to myself as a child, but using this analogy, it took a village of loving family members, especially my two heartbeats, Leah and Tyra, my boyfriend of 29 years, my husband, Tracy, special friends, many non-commissioned officers and civilians to raise a Black female general officer in the United States Army. For this, I will forever be grateful for their unwavering support and encouragement. As Beatrice J. Reagan once shared, life's challenges are not supposed to paralyze you. They're supposed to help you discover who you are. My desire is that my story will inspire, challenge thought outside the box, and push others to go after their dreams and succeed, coming out of those experiences with a better understanding of who they are and their purpose. While the added bonus of this recognition will bring a smile and honor to my maiden name, Williamson, making my mom and dad proud of their little snot-nosed girl from Darlington, South Carolina. As a baby of 7, believe me, good deeds, all good deeds matter. I lastly leave you with to remember that the strength of our nation is our armed forces. The strength of our armed forces are our service members, and the strength of our service members are our families. And that is what makes us, the armed forces of the United States, strong. Thanks again for this amazing honor and reverence to an incredible 32 years of service. And I commend you for what you do and what you will continue to do in service and support of our veterans.
Good afternoon, my fellow veterans. First of all, to Rodney and Lisa, thank you for this amazing opportunity. I am so incredibly humbled to have had the opportunity to tell my story. And just like the General mentioned, this story actually gave a lot of people that had no idea that I had served 21 years. They now know this, and it's just been an amazing accolade. For all of you doing community service, thank you for your time, your effort, and everything, because as a member of the American Legion, along with Twyla, and all other organizations that I give my time and energy to, it takes those veterans to continue doing what we do. We, as veterans, by the fact that we have careers, are service-oriented, and it doesn't stop when we take off the uniform. So for Lisa, for Rodney, thank you for this amazing opportunity and this reverence that my mother is still bragging about all over Louisiana. But I just wanted to say, continue with the service, and if there's anything we can do for you at the American Legion or anywhere you can find me, please don't hesitate to reach out. I am honored, and happy Veterans Day to my brothers and sisters in arms. Thank you.
She considers herself a veteran advocate, 365, 24/7. This advocate found ways to make every day Veterans Day through her nonprofit, ALEA, which stands for Agape Love in Action.
One day I was having
someone was doing a photo shoot. I had received an award. And we were just kind of talking about things in general. And I mentioned to her about the parking spot for the veterans. So I went into the kitchen to get some coffee. And then I was standing there and I was thinking, okay, if I had a calendar, then that would match the name that I had given myself, 365, 24/7 veteran supporter. Because a calendar would be seen every day. So if I have a veteran there, a picture of a veteran, it would bring back something. It would be a reminder that, not to forget the veterans. This is our third calendar. I have to have diversity. One of the things, for example, I look at the various branches of the military, whether they're officers or enlisted, retired, whether they've been there 4 years. I look at ethnic groups. I look at male, female, and I try to have diversity. I have pictures of veterans or active duty military in the calendar. They're taking their time, they're spending their time and helping to put this together because their presence, who they are. And so to me, that's not something that I should dictate, take the money and decide what to do in terms of doing something for my nonprofit. So 100% of everything that we do is dedicated and given to 100% to nonprofit organizations.
During this holiday season, we stopped by Joint Base Anacostia Boyne's annual holiday giveaway. They partner with local ministries to support military members and civilians.
So one of the ministries is His Helping Hands. It's a organization that was originally started with active duty members and they're now retirees and have continued on for over 30 plus years of serving the local community.
It's just a small meal just for families that, that might need it, tough times.
And finally, our Veteran of the Week. Reuben Howard, at 92, is a sharp dresser whose time and service took him through 2 military branches and 3 campaigns: World War II, the Korean War, and Vietnam.
I was drafted March 20, 1943. I didn't quite finish high school. I finished high school in the Army. I went into the Air Force, the United States Army Air Force, and I worked with them until 1946. Got a break, and then I come out and went back in the Army. Stayed there until 1972. Basic training is about 6 months to a year, and they give you a little bit of everything because they have to find out really who you are. What is your breaking point? That's the main thing. So they give you a hard way to go, but after everything was over with, I come to be okay. I didn't like the cursing and the race and sin, but after the basic training, I met some of the guys who were training me, and they apologized and told me why they had to do what they did, because they want to find a breaking point. Every man has a breaking point. They want to know where it was, so you had to go through that type of training. I served in World War II. The Korean War was in the 50s. I went there as normally like a soldier would do, whatever I had to do, whether it's on that line. And I was having to be a utility foreman at that time. Big gun, I've been there about 5 times. I left there and went to a place you call Special Forces. And that's when you bounce like a bouncing ball. You're everywhere. Anywhere they need you, they put you there. You own all the enlisted personnel, like they're your children. And they fall or do something, you got to try to pick them up. I did whatever I could for them when they got hurt, and the major thing was patching a guy's face together. He had lost his head. All this right here was off. And I was first sergeant, so that's God's work, so I ain't gonna claim none of that. They brought the man to me, and he was laughing. His half of face was laughing. The other half of his head was laughing. And they handed it to me so you can imagine what I was doing. I'm first saw it and I gotta do something. So I took the man's head and I put it back on his body. Put it so it's straight. I had a little doctor unit, there's a name for him. I gave me some skin glue, and I put that around. That is the best thing I want to give you. It's a whole lot more. Now I want to cry.
That's all for this edition of Veterans in Transition. We ask that you like us on Facebook and follow us on social media. If you have a story idea, reach out to us at info@vetsintransition.com. And remember, stay relevant and stay on purpose. Until next time.